From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into our 23rd year, and of course seen exclusively here on cleveland.com. The D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, is here, now our Thursday night guy. Hello, D-Man.
What's up, Les? Hold on. I got to check to see if Freddie Kitchens has officially been named Browns coach.
What do you,
Nothing yet.
What do you make of that? That everybody knows it's him, but for some reason the I's and T's aren't dotted and crossed.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
Anything to worry about?
No. I mean, you would think if by some chance it were not true that Kitchens were the coach, and we know he is, but if it were true that he wasn't, we would have known by now.
Well, you'd have heard
somebody would have had something to say, hey, guess what? 11th hour change. Browns are not going to go with Kitchens, but he's the guy.
Yesterday, Wednesday, that was yesterday, I was on 92.3 The Fan, and we had Chris Rose on, who of course is with MLB Network and NFL Network, and just a few minutes before we found out about Kitchens, he was told by the NFL people that it was going to be Stefanski. So this thing was pretty tight-lipped all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel like Stefanski versus Kitchens, or it was down to those two.
Right.
How that came about, how it came to be Kitchens, we'll have to
find out.
Poke and prod.
Yeah.
Now, they might not give us everything that went on in that room.
Yeah, but you'll find out.
You figure out a way. But listen, I believe I said on last week's show, and I said it in a couple of quarterback report posts, that I was in favor of Freddie Kitchens remaining here. Now, it was easier to do because he was under contract for one more year. Could interview for an HC, but they could block him from OC, which they did. But I thought, he had enough talent. Why not take a shot at him as a head coach? What's the problem?
Well, I think people look at past records, and he's been in the NFL for quite some time, but hasn't really been up the ladder yet with any team. And although he was with Arizona for a long time. So I think that's legitimate to question. Here you see he played for Gene Stallings at Alabama and coached under some pretty good people. Nick Saban at LSU, Bill Parcells at Dallas, and also Bruce Arians at Arizona. So, and now you wind up with Arians going down to Tampa. He'll probably take some of those Arizona guys with him who would have been probably primed for Freddie Kitchens to bring in.
Right, but you hear some names that are still available. Vance Joseph interviewing here, supposedly Chuck Pagano potentially.
Take either one of them.
I mean, so there's still talented guys out there, even when other coaches have named their staffs. But I'm not saying that you can't have a degree of skepticism about Kitchens for one of the reasons is what you just raised. Why wasn't he a full-time OC, let alone a HC, before now?
He's 44 right now.
Well, my answer to that, and I'm not Freddie Kitchens' agent. If I were, I would know if he was definitely being hired. But my thing is this. There are examples everywhere of guys who never got the opportunity to do a particular job. There are great coordinators out there who never got the opportunity to be a head coach. There are great position coaches who haven't gotten the opportunity to be a DC or an OC. On down the line. So Kitchens is not the first, and he won't be the last guy who had to wait this long to get his opportunity.
All right, let's touch on something that I think we do know about the hiring, and that is that Jimmy Haslam seemed to stay out of it, at least until the end. In fact, as the final negotiations were going on, he was on his way down to Columbus with his soccer team. So I think most observers would say if Haslam wasn't really in the middle of things, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no doubt the cynics are thrilled that the Haslams are now preoccupied with the crew. Good for them. Good for the crew that is staying in Columbus. But, my sense is that Haslam, and again, I'm not in the building. Unlike some of these national guys who know everything that happened in Berea, they know what John Dorsey's thinking before he even thinks it. I don't pretend to know what Dorsey's thinking, what was going on in that room, the committee and all that other stuff. But my sense is that the Haslams finally relented and realized, you know what? we hired John Dorsey for a reason.
Right.
One of the main reasons is to hire a coach. We're going to stay out of the way. They're entitled as owners to give their recommendations.
Sure.
But ultimately, the decision is made by Dorsey and his crew.
Do you go with what we had heard yesterday, that DePodesta was involved on one side with the analytics of it, and then you had Dorsey and the football people?
Well, that's fine. Listen, no self-respecting general manager in today's game of NFL shouldn't have an analytics arm.
Absolutely.
You need to have that as part of your stew, if you will. And it shouldn't be anathema to say analytics. It's part of the deal, but you also have to have the quote-unquote football guys. You need a blend. And I think Dorsey is willing to blend them and get the best possible candidate. And if you've trusted Dorsey to this point, which most of us have, and what has he done other than do great things for this franchise? Why stop now? If he thinks Kitchens is the guy, who am I to tell him no?
216-575-0403. You saw the number at the bottom of your screen. You can email us during the show at reallesLevine@gmail.com. And Dennis Manoloff, the D-Man, is with us. Terry Pluto will join us on Monday here on cleveland.com. Well, as you know, I'm the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Cleveland sports, which we'll get to in a moment. I want to get to the headlines for the day, brought to you by our friends at Northfield Park, your home for live and simulcast racing. According to several reports, Kitchens is going to have some say in the hiring of his hiring his coaches. Well, that isn't always the case.
Right.
Joel Bitonio added to the Pro Bowl. He's the third Cleveland Brown to make the squad. And Tate Martell of Ohio State is now in the transfer portal in the NCAA. He's not a happy camper right now, based on Justin Fields coming in.
Yeah, but back to the Browns and Kitchens. Another piece of good news. Kitchens will report to Dorsey.
Right, instead of reporting,
it should be.
Instead of going around the bend and reporting to the owner.
No more bat phone to the owner.
Yeah, there you go. That's so far from, at least at this point, until they have a press conference either tomorrow or Saturday or who knows. That's pretty good news for observers of this ball club. As you know, I'm the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Cleveland sports. Well, the Browns have made a decision, and that decision is Freddie Kitchens. Most of the people who are in favor of that happy because there's going to be some continuity. How good will Kitchens be as a head coach for the first time? I have no idea. Neither do you. It's examples of first-timers doing well, and others examples of obvious coaching choices who don't do so well. We'll wait and see. At least one thing we know, he'll have a say in the matter as far as play calling, which means that's good with the rapport that he has built up over the last year with quarterback Baker Mayfield. All in all, the Browns, who finished 7-9-1, or what was that? What did they finish? 7-8-1. There you go. The bar is going to be higher, but it looks like they're in position to do just that. Becoming a head coach in the NFL is tough, and usually a first-year head coach has to navigate some tough waters. This team looks to be in shape to make a run already, and the bar is raised, but Freddie Kitchens is confident that he'll be able to take that bar where it needs to be. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine, with new content posted each and every day. The D-Man and I return in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
I had bad credit, so I wasn't able to get a bank account or a credit card.
My life is so busy, I don't have time to be standing in line to cash a check.
That's why we created the NetsBand Prepaid MasterCard. It puts you in control of managing your money.
I can get my money up to 2 days earlier than everybody else. I don't have to wait till the end of the week to get paid.
Order now at no cost and get paid up to 2 days faster.
Call 1-800-644-0772.
Call now and you can choose your card design.
All right, here we go. Birthdays for today, the 10th of January. Frank Mahavlich, one of the great hockey players of all time. Willie McCovey of the Giants, McCovey's Cove, of course, in right field now. Chuck Roast was born on this date in 1947. George Foreman, Glenn Robinson, and Jake Delhomme, former Browns quarterback. Well, who isn't? Everybody's a former Browns quarterback. What happened to you? You flying? You sitting
I was going to say.
All right. Wow, look at you. I'll just join you here.
I caused a little issue with the chair, so it's my fault.
We'll take care of it. We'll take it. Yeah, you sit right there. You're fine. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Let's go out to Nature Stone and Mike Masetta standing by. Find out what Mike is thinking. Mike, are you there?
I'm here, Les. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
I got D-Man flying up to the ceiling right next to me here with a chair issue.
What's up, Mike?
How you doing, D-Man?
What's up?
Yeah.
How are you?
All right, Mike Masetta, we find out on Thursday nights what Mike is thinking. So obviously the first thing to find out what you're thinking about is they haven't actually named him. That's something, I don't know if that's to be concerning, but Freddie Kitchens, I'm going to say officially the new head coach for the Cleveland Browns. What are you thinking about that?
The baker is in the kitchen, all right?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the joke of the year now.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good hire. I don't know. I really enjoyed what Kitchen said, and I know I'm not quoting him exactly, but it was something to the effect of, are you nervous about being a first-time head coach? And he said, look, it's the NFL. All coaches are nervous when they're coming in, and nobody's guaranteed anything. So it was nice to hear his perspective on that. And hey, if I understand that Baker was at least somewhat involved with this. They had him. They talked to him a little bit about this process. If Dorsey says that this is the guy, after knowing him all year and watching him run the offense the way that he did over the last 8 games, then I'm on board with it, and let's go win a Super Bowl.
The interesting thing about it is everybody was saying if it's not broke, don't fix it. We're talking about you got Kitchen here, you had Greg Williams here. Now that Greg Williams is gone, there doesn't seem to be a groundswell of sentiment for him. I think fans just wanted one or the other.
Well, and Greg Williams is a class guy. I mean, what he wrote to the Cleveland fans was awesome. And I know they do that because they're trying to, be nice for their next job down the road and everything. But I really thought that was a class act on his part. But I think that letting Williams go and going in favor of Kitchens was probably the better of the two moves. I think Williams deserved an interview, which they gave him. But if they felt that Kitchens was more ready or prepared or the better fit for this particular job, then let him go do his thing. And I'd like to have him back as the defensive coordinator for continuity purposes, but obviously Freddie's got other things in mind for that.
That, and I think that if you're the head coach as Greg Williams was, and then all of a sudden come back and be the guy who is below you has hopscotched over you, I think that's kind of hard to do from Greg Williams' point of view. Here's another thing. I'll ask both of you. Dennis Manoloff here from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. you're looking for signs about everything that happens. You're wondering what that means in the grand scheme of things. And I thought the order of in which they were interviewed, I didn't think it mattered before it happened. When we found out that Williams was going to get it first and Kitchens would get it at what turned out to be at the end. The reality is, it turned out that order must have meant something, because I think that Kitchens was their man, and they had brought other people in just to see if somebody could change their minds about it. Do you guys look at it the same way? D-Man, how about you?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's very possible, Les, because you know that Kitchens had the home field advantage or the home court advantage. So he was a guy they were very familiar with, and maybe they did bring in other guys to see if they could knock him off the perch. But they knew all along that they had Kitchens in their back pocket if need be.
Hey, Mike, as the CEO of Nature's Stone, one of the great companies here, when you do hiring, do you do that in a similar way, where maybe you know who you're going to pick out of a batch of people, and so there's a method to your madness of how the schedule goes?
Well, I could tell you that we've never done that. We've never known going into a hire that this was going to be the person that we were going to hire. We've had an inkling of that in the initial interview phase, where we talk to you maybe by phone or something like that, or we look at a resume and can say, okay, this really fits what we're looking for, and we put that at the top of the list, but not necessarily through the full interview process.
Right, but Mike, you didn't have a guy in your company working on an interim basis impressing the heck out of you either.
No, that's never happened before. Yeah, we never had the interim coach tag at Nature's Stone. But I will say this: what is kind of interesting though is that you heard some big names like McCarthy and a few others tied to this particular job, and they didn't interview any of those guys. They went strictly with coordinators, from what I understand, and that was very telling to me that Kitchens and I think Williams as well were probably at the top of their list, because they didn't go after that ex-head coach with a pedigree, type guy that had experience and so forth. They even interview that person. They didn't even bother interviewing.
Right. Well, I think in McCarthy's case, we had some pretty good information that it was made clear to him that the Browns, Dorsey, in fact, would be choosing Kitchens as the offensive coordinator, and I don't think that McCarthy liked that idea. So I think that's how that broke up.
And Arians as well. He never came here and interviewed. He said he wanted to.
Right.
But they never gave him the interview. So
do you think he didn't get the?
Interesting.
Do you think that Arians ticked him off by going public, saying that's the job he wants? Do you think they might have felt differently if he either did it in back channels or didn't even do it at all? Do you think that bothered them?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know that. I don't know why that would make them upset. I mean, unless they were talking to him privately and they were telling him that they were going to interview him privately, and then he went public with it and sort of leaked the information. That may have hurt his chances. But if no one knew who they were going to interview and he was not on the list, and he was saying that, I don't fault him for taking a shot, to try to get his name in the ring, I guess is the way I would look at that.
All right, because it's cold and snowy in Cleveland today, I want to turn my attention to, that's probably the way it'll be opening day, but I want to talk baseball for a minute. Nothing happening yet. We've turned the corner on the first of the year, and we were told some action would happen. D-Man, you hearing anything about the Tribe and what they plan to do or what they will do? They've got Tribe Fest coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think any big news will be broken on Tribe Fest. To me, the Harper signing has to occur before we
the dominoes fall?
Yeah, before a lot of dominoes fall, including the potential trade of Kluber.
Right.
I do believe that the Indians have made Kluber and Bauer available to the best offer, knowing that they could turn them all down if need be.
At least at this point.
And my sense is that most teams, if not all teams, have preferred Kluber to Bauer. But the problem is right now you don't have Harper signing anywhere. I think he potentially could sign, let's say, with the Dodgers, a logical landing spot. All of a sudden they have a glut of offensive players because in return for Kluber, you need a minimum of one, hopefully two regular bats. in addition to a reliever and potentially a young starter.
Right. But they're also willing to walk away from it if they don't get it.
Right. But I do think, though, that as Dave Bacon was saying to me in the green room, their offense is so challenged right now when you really look at it with a critical eye that it's almost imperative that they trade either Bauer or Kluber to get some legitimate bats in here.
Yeah.
You can't trust these prospect bats that they've accumulated in your major league lineup.
Right. You're expected to win your division. Mike, what I don't know about you. I'm coming around. I didn't like the idea of that kind of a trade with Bauer or with Kluber, but I don't think they have any other choice. How about you?
Well, they've certainly put themselves in a position where they don't have any other choice because they're not going to go out and spend any money elsewhere. So I'm with D-Man, though, and we talked about this last week. And I would throw Machado in there, too. Those two guys need to sign before the teams that are in the running for Kluber or Bauer know what they're going to have available in terms of a trade. So we still got to wait on that. And they do. Their offense is extremely challenged. They have what I call a home run hitting offense with no on base guys. So you can't be a 3-run home run team if there's nobody on base to hit a 3-run home run. They've got nobody that walks 1 through 9 in their entire lineup. They have no
Carlos
Santana.
Carlos Santana, but
yeah.
even his walks have been down lately because he's trying to hit a lot of home runs.
Right.
So that's a big problem. I thought that was a big problem with them last year. You had too many guys who were swinging from the heels and not enough guys who were getting on base for them. And so that's something that I think they need to really address. And I don't know where Kipnis fits in all this. You think I'd like to see them get the 4 package that D-Man was talking about, but do you take 3 if they take Kipnis' salary off your books and then maybe go and sign somebody?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because now you have the money with that, so that's an option too.
Yeah, well, you got a major league hitting infield and a low minor league hitting outfield. So,
Yeah.
All right, Mike, have a great week. Mike, CEO of Nature Stone, one of the great companies in Northeast Ohio and regionally. Mike, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. Have
Great
a good
to
night.
talk to you. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. They've got racing at Northfield Park, and they've got it on Monday through Wednesday, as well as Saturday evenings with a post time of 6 p.m. Open early every day at noon for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Enjoy free handicapping contests all weekend long, including the popular Road to the Derby contest on Saturdays. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Dennis Manoloff and I return in a moment right here. More Sports and Les Levine continues, and that's and that's right here on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Nature Stone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Nature Stone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, it has a higher insulation rating than carpet and is warmer than linoleum, vinyl, wood, or tile.
Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable basement floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
All right, D-Man, it's time for a How Come Quickie. How come they never give you the wind chill factor in July? Any idea why?
I do not know.
That piggybacks onto a quickie we had a couple of weeks ago. How come TV weathermen, they give you a science class and all you want to know if it's going to rain or snow tomorrow? 216-575-0403 is the number to call. And you can email us during the show at reallesLevine@gmail.com. You okay now?
Yeah,
We've leveled off a little bit.
I'm forced to sit up straight. My late mother would have been thrilled to see
good.
me sitting up straight.
All right, well, the Browns have some decisions to make about a defensive coordinator. It's the next big decision they have, along with offensive coordinator. We can take a look at some of the possible candidates here. Here's Vance Joseph, just let go as the Broncos head coach after 2 years. He went 11-21. He was the defensive coordinator in 2016 before with Miami, before getting the job in Denver. Also, more information about him. He's 46 years old. Chuck Pagano, 58 years old, was the head coach at Indianapolis. We had a record of 10 over 500 at 53-43, and he was here as the secondary coach for the Cleveland Browns, almost at the beginning. That would have been, Butch Davis, and also would have been Butch Davis. Yeah, there you go. And Chris Palmer.
And let's not forget, Les, either. It's not as helter-skelter as it seems, because I'm sure during the interview process, Kitchens was asked by Dorsey and the committee, okay, what are you going to do on defense? Give us some names that you have in mind. You know, when Kitchens is doing his prep for the job, he's probably putting together a mock-up,
right?
Of guys he would like to be coordinators. So it's not as much of a scramble sometimes as we think.
All right, we've got snow in Northeast Ohio. What do you say we go down to Florida, maybe someplace like Orlando? Bill's standing by in Orlando, Florida. Hello, Bill.
No, it's Joe, but
Joe.
Excuse me. Anyway, it's great to see you guys down here in Florida, and I guess beyond with the .com gig.
Yeah.
But anyway, with the Browns, this putting off the hire or delaying it with what's his name with Kitchens just gives me an uneasy feeling that this is kind of a Browns thing, that some disaster is going to be forthcoming.
Those days are over, Joe.
Just one other thing on that. I think it was Mike said earlier on the show, that one of the other shows, that, Arians or somebody else was perhaps a candidate. And the real coup, I think, would have been if Dorsey was able to keep both Kitchens and Williams and have another guy in as the head coach and keep the team together and perhaps...
Yeah, well, not, in other words, not advance Kitchens to the head coaching job, just keep him as a coordinator?
Well, yeah, if you could keep both him and Williams, I mean, a proven duo, at least the last 8 games or so, and have somebody that is even a figurehead head coach. I mean,
but Joe, I will say this though: it's pretty clear. It's become pretty clear that the Browns, while they appreciated the effort that Greg Williams gave, in stabilizing things as interim head coach, they weren't necessarily thrilled with the defense. Okay, the defensive rankings were not great.
30th.
The offense was much better than the defense by the end of the year. So. Even though Greg Williams could have been kept around for continuity purposes, I think that they want to make an advance or an improvement in their defense.
And Joe,
that's
you
one of the
also said you were
go.
thinking like a figurehead head coach, I think is the word you used.
Yeah, anymore. I mean, I think the job, I think other callers and you guys have express the idea that there's so many nuances to coaching, the political aspect of it, the social aspect of it, and good God only knows what else. That's so removed from football that, hey, I got a great idea just now. It just came to me. Put D or whatever Haslam's wife's name is.
D. Haslam?
She seems to be meddling. Make her the head coach.
No, good idea. No, I'll tell you what. I think that, you said a figurehead coach. I think the bar has been raised to the point where this team has to be a playoff team next year, and maybe even better than it, maybe into the second round of the playoffs. I think the experimentation is over. They firmly believe in Kitchens, and I think that's the way they're going. That's not That's not a temporary move. That's a move they think is going to last for a long time.
Okay, all you need to do is finally make the announcement.
Yeah, they haven't, but there's nothing to worry about.
Well, it's beginning to look like a soap opera down here. I mean, will they or won't they? And tune in tomorrow and tune in next week and maybe next month to see what goes on with this deal.
We're trying to build viewers here.
Great to be able to see you guys for sure, and even appreciate the fact that you stood up for a while before I called, and now at least you're sitting down.
Hey, Joe, do me a
pretty
favor.
cool too.
Joe, do me a favor. Just pass the word about what's going on here at cleveland.com.
It's already out there I think people are nervous about calling in, but you have a great deal of, from what I can tell on the golf course with people I've seen, that welcome the show down here for sure.
Excellent. Great to hear. Thanks so much, Joe. 216.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Thank you. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Here, as you're watching on cleveland.com, and you can email us at reallesLevine@gmail.com. We're building audience day by day, which is terrific.
Yeah, I was with Joe until he offered up Dee Haslam as coach of the Browns.
Yeah, he was doing well till then, but that's all right. He was a first-timer. He got a little nervous on us, no question about that. Are you spending all your moments at home at night watching the Cavaliers?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? They're unwatchable at this point.
It's sad when a professional league is dependent upon the draft all the time.
Right.
Now, you say, well, the NFL does that too. Yeah, but at least the NFL has compelling regular seasons. In the NBA, it's like I threw out there, when are the Cavs going to win again on Twitter? And a lot of my responses were, who cares as long as we get Zion Williamson? Yeah. And it's like, that's pretty sad that that's the state of your league, that a lot of teams, all you care about is what are they going to do in the draft.
Right. Well, they've lost 11 in a row. They got 5 more on the road trip.
When are they going to win again?
I don't know.
They're not winning on this trip.
Don't you think this losing streak could top 20, I would think. It's at 11 right now. They got 5 more on the road.
I know they're injured, and you know, of course, Kevin Love's out, and he's an all-star, and that's all you hear. Yeah, they're banged up, and last night is an example, second night of a back-to-back. But you can't give up, was it 81 points and a half, the second half yesterday?
81 points. And then you got to worry about what the NBA is going to do to them on whatever they did on the McCaw situation.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for sure, but I don't know. There's got to be – look, there was professional pride against the Pacers 2 nights ago, the night before the Pelicans, when they scrambled back to make it a game in the second half. But you can't be giving up what they're giving up on the defensive side.
Dennis Manoloff with us, of course, right here on cleveland.com. More Sports and Les Levine continues. You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine, with new content posted each and every day. Coming up soon, we'll check out some of your Facebook responses for the question of the day right here on cleveland.com.
Smile.
No matter how well you provide for your family today, if you don't have life insurance, their future may be at risk. Why not help guarantee those you love $250,000 or more with life insurance through AIG Direct? Less than $14 a month buys a 40-year-old man a $250,000 term life policy. That's up to 3 times what you can get from other companies for the same price. Make the future more secure for those you love.
Call 1-800-723-9758.
It takes attention to detail.
With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
It takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling to bring the heat when things get chilly. Find us at 440-449-HEAT.
Take a look at this date in sports history. January 10th, 1982, the Bengals beat San Diego in the coldest game ever, 9 degrees below zero, with wind chills of minus 59 degrees. Can you imagine?
No, and I do remember watching it. I can't even imagine playing in it. Would it be allowed to go in today's day?
Well, that's a
Would
great
they
question.
even allow that?
That's a great question.
I don't know if there is a threshold.
You would know a couple of days before how bad it was going to be if you had to cancel it. It's a good question.
Yeah,
you know what? For any Cincinnatians who went to that game, call in and let's discuss it. I'd like to find out what that thing felt like. The coldest one I was ever at, I think, was Red Ride 88. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. 216-575-0403. The D-Man, Dennis Manoloff, is with us. You graded out. Well, you watched several times. You watched every pass that Baker Mayfield threw. About how many times did you watch each pass?
On average, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Real time
that's the
and then
night of the
2
game?
replays on average.
That's the night of the game, generally?
Yeah, but then the next day I'll wake up and probably watch it again. So it averaged about 3 plays.
All right. How did you grade him for the year?
An A. Listen, my grade range for him was A+ 5 times to F once.
Right.
I gave him an F for, I believe, the Chargers game, D- for the Steelers game, a couple C+. But I gave him an A because of the magic words extra credit. The extra credit being, how could you have watched what you saw to this year from Baker Mayfield and thought it was a B-, for example?
Right.
Because if you averaged all my grades, it's probably around a B-.
Right, but for what he did for the team, for everything else?
Yeah, and the main number I cited was in the 50 games that the Browns played before Mayfield took the field, they were 4-45-1.
Ouch.
In the 14 games since he took the field, they were 7-7.
Yeah.
To me, that is a feather in Mayfield's cap because he turned a woebegone franchise into a team that knew how to win.
Let's go to BP, who's in Pepper Pike. BP, how are you tonight?
Great. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Oh, BP.
Yeah, I was just reading an ESPN.com report. Actually, it was cleveland.com. Mary Kay Cabot wrote a nice article about, sort of an updated article about Freddie Kitchens and some of his, coaching staff. But one of the guys they mentioned was Jim Bob Cooter. And I was thinking, boy, that'd be funny to have, Freddie Kitchens, Jim Bob Cooter, Baker Mayfield. Bunch of good old boys.
I heard Cooter was coming in if he isn't already. But yeah, sure, you're going to have the good old boys, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like,
Well, the goodest of the good old boys would be Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah, they'll be heading over to some barbecue joint somewhere near Berea. And, they should open up a, Oak and Embers out there or something, Smoking Fuse or somewhere, or Dave's
BP, what are you thinking now that the decision has been made, even though it's not officially signed, but that'll be taken care of? You've settled into your thoughts. What's going on in your mind about what they've done?
Of course, I do like Freddie Kitchens. I like his relationship with Baker Mayfield. But, I do, to me, football is not just quarterback. There's 53 guys on the team. And, I want to see who they hire as a defensive coordinator. I think that's extremely important. And they also let go a lot of, key coaches. Special teams coach is gone. Not that he was that good, but they also let go of, Bob Wiley, offensive line coach. So there's a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah,
and, they're competing with 8 other teams that, fired their coach.
Yeah, the special teams guy that had to be the first guy to go.
Yeah, no, and then for years we complained about Chris Tabor, that he wasn't that great, that he, made it through all these Browns regimes, and, now we actually, are kind of wanting to get a guy that at least is, adequate like him. But, I'm interested to see who they hire for the defensive coordinator. I think that's why they've delayed having this big announcement with Freddie Kitchens over in Berea.
Right,
that's just my own
they
thought.
were going to get questions about it without an answer for the people yet. So you're right, they're probably waiting for that. And also, my guess is travel is tough because the weather's hit all over the country, and Kitchens obviously would like to have his certain family members there, and maybe they couldn't coordinate it the way they'd like to.
One thing I've noticed is, the Browns seem to be high on Chuck Pagano as a defensive coordinator. I've got no problems with that at all. But
Vance Joseph also.
He's also, being courted by the Arizona Cardinals, and,
Right.
So that could be a problem. Everybody likes that warm weather and all that good stuff. So.
Well, they may, but in the NFL, you like wins, and I think you take a look at the Browns versus the Arizona Cardinals. To me, the Browns are a no-brainer.
Right. Now, Vance Joseph is also being rumored as a Browns defensive coordinator. I got no problem with him either. I mean, the Browns played the Broncos in a pretty tight defensive battle, not that long ago, a month ago.
Right.
So, he's worked with Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. I got no problem with him. What do you think of Vance Joseph as a DC here?
I'm okay with either one of them. I think they're both the top candidates. Joseph just interviewed with somebody else yesterday, I think. I forget who at this point, but
he's also interviewed with Phoenix Cardinals or Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah,
so
I like the fact that they both had head coaching experience, because I think Kitchens needs somebody in that coach's room to help through certain situations, and I think an ex-head coach can do that.
Somebody asked, that can you envision, 2-3 years from now, Freddie Kitchens and Baker Mayfield holding up the Super Bowl Lombardi Trophy? What do you think?
3 years?
Sure.
2 or 3 years from now.
Why not? I mean, I don't think Dorsey would have made the hire if he didn't think that. I mean, he's not hiring Kitchens thinking, oh, he's 1 or 2 years and then I'll be done with him. Or he's not thinking, hey, I can't win with this guy. So why not? Why not think that way?
3 years is a doable number. And of all the 8 teams that were looking for coaches a couple of days ago, and now there's still 2, Miami and Cincinnati, Cleveland clearly, to me, is from a standpoint of winning games and maybe getting to the Super Bowl. The Cleveland Browns are, I don't think I've ever said it before, but the Cleveland Browns would be the best choice as far as I'm concerned. The team that has the best chance to go all the way.
No, I agree, and I asked you that question, but I believe I could see Freddie Kitchens up there winning a Super Bowl. There's no doubt in my mind. He, the guy in the Eagles have won a Super Bowl. Now there's actually 12 teams left that have not won a Super Bowl. So, there's 32 teams in the NFL. That's still about 40% of the NFL has not won a Super Bowl. So it's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, but how many have made it there? The Browns, the
Browns and the Lions are the only teams that I know the Browns are the only team that have not either hosted a Super Bowl or played in the Super Bowl. The Lions have hosted a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they haven't played in it. I think those are the only 2. All right, BP, good to talk to you. You can get me again tomorrow on 92.3 The Fan.
Take care.
216-575-0403. Texans also.
They've hosted, but they have not played.
Yeah.
In it, but
how about when they were the Houston Oilers? I mean, they weren't the Houston Oilers, but they had that franchise.
Do you ever remember the Oilers in the Super Bowl?
I don't think so.
But I don't think are the Texans the Oilers?
No.
The Tennessee Titans are. But, yeah, I don't remember the Oilers ever being in the Super Bowl.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come on back. We've got some Larry Nance Jr. things to look at, and we've got this date in less history. We will do that when we get back. Dennis Manoloff, cleveland.com, is with us. You're watching more Sports and Les Levine exclusively on cleveland.com.
The concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Nature Stone flooring. Reduce tracked-in dirt, eliminate puddling and salt damage. Plus, Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable garage floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
Introducing LizardCam, the new micro camera that goes anywhere you can't see. With an extra long flexible cable, you can inspect anywhere. The powerful light illuminates even the darkest areas behind your walls. It comes with a hook tip so you can retrieve fallen jewelry down a sink. Plus, it's waterproof, so unclog drains like a pro. Add the mirror tip to find critter hideouts behind the fridge, or the magnetic tip so you can grab loose nuts and bolts that are impossible to reach. Get yours today.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
More Sports and Les Levine is now available on cleveland.com. To watch, type in cleveland.com/sports into your browser, then click on the More Sports and Les Levine icon, and the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason is available 24/7 from any computer. You can watch live from 6 to 7 Monday through Friday, or catch taped editions anytime on cleveland.com. All right, here we go. This date in Les Levine history. D-Man, January 10th, 1987, on a golf trip to Florida. On the 157-yard 7th hole, Les missed a hole-in-one by just 3 strokes. On Thursdays, we go back with the week in review to see what happened. January 7th, 2019, Les applies for the clock management position with the Cleveland Browns, even though the new coach hadn't been in place yet. This is the 7th time that he felt obligated to apply for that position. Then we move back to the 8th of January. In 1968, Les takes hockey as a gym course at Ohio State. He volunteered to play goalie, figuring the goal crease was the furthest that he could skate. Then on the 9th, the subs in high school basketball, the substitutes usually point to themselves when a foul is committed. The first stringers at Brush always pointed to Les, no matter whether he fouled or somebody else or not. They just wanted me out of the game, D-Man. What can I tell you? 216-575-0403. Sokolowski's University Inn. No place better. I was there today after my radio gig, and just always a great place. It's the winner of the James Beard Foundation Award, and no other restaurant in Cleveland has won that. Only 5 of them, restaurants in the entire country, win it each and every year. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's the proud recipients of that honor. It's Cleveland's oldest family-owned and operated restaurant. We asked our Facebook followers what you project the Indians to do as far as this season is concerned. Let's take a look. How well do you project the Indians to finish? Let's take a look at some of the responses. All right, you've got Tim Gephardt. They'll still win the division, but another 1 round and done in the playoffs. We then move on to Carmen Tolino. If the roster remains the same, I see a lot of 1-0 and 2-1 losses. They'll be in a dogfight for the division title. We move on to Gregory Mees. With the pitching staff still intact and Francona at the helm, I say 93 wins. We also had another one, Lawrence Butler, and he says with no further additions, the Tribe is unlikely to compete successfully with the Astros, Boston, and the Yankees.
I mean, that's the key phrase or clause, with no further addition. The Indians are going to have a different roster going into spring training than they have right now. They'll have legitimate bats in that, at least 1, maybe 2. But if they were to stand pat, I agree, it'll be a scramble. The next good team in this division is the White Sox.
Minnesota.
Once they move in, Minnesota, okay, yeah, they got a couple of nice bats they added, especially Cruz, but I still think the White Sox are the team that once they get there, they're going to be here to stay, like the Indians have been. Machado's a possibility for the White Sox. That could be a game changer.
Let's go back to D-Man's neck of the woods, and we'll go to Bay Village, and we'll say hi to Jared. Jared, good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening, Les. I've enjoyed you way before your 14, 20 days. That said, I want to talk about the Browns real quick. I'm not sure if Pagano is considered someone who just can't get through to people anymore. I know he's a leader of men. I know he's a great person. He's got head coaching experience. But I almost think, and not just because it's diversity, but I almost think that, somebody like Steve Wilkes, who's available, who runs a 4-3, Vance Joseph runs a 4-3, and also, I can't think of his first name, but Woods, the defensive coordinator in Denver, he's not going to be kept around now that Fangio is over there. I think all three of those gentlemen should be considered. Also, and I'm going to want I want to say what say you in a minute, please, but also on the offensive side of the ball, I think Todd Monken led the #1 passing attack in the NFL with Tampa Bay this year.
Yeah, they're looking at him.
Yeah.
And he's innovative, and he did not call plays last year. Cutter did, so I think he'd be willing. And he's out of a job right now with Arians being there and installing either Leftwich or Goodwin as his coordinator. And the other name I want to remind people is Munchak. He's a tight ends coach right now.
He just didn't he just get named?
I thought Munchak was accounted for.
No, Malarkey is.
Okay.
Oh, Malarkey. No, I want to say
Malarkey got
Munchak.
hired for Jacksonville.
I'm having trouble keeping track of them all, but
I'm thinking of Denver.
For Denver, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, thanks. I'll hang up and I'll
Jared
listen to
raises
what you
great
guys have
points.
to say. Well, no, I won't hang up. Let's hear what you have to say.
Thanks, Jared. He raises great points, good names. Here's my point, though. Just because there's a lot of openings, or there, and relatively speaking, a lot of openings,
right?
It doesn't mean there's a shortage of candidates.
No, that's a good point.
I believe Kitchens will get pretty much what he wants, and just as any of these other coaches is going to get pretty much what they want.
Jared, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it very much. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing, and you can catch the excitement of live harness racing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as well as Saturday evenings. Post time 6 p.m. Open early every day at noon for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. Each week, the Ohio Lottery's Partners in Education program recognizes students who are role models from across the state of Ohio. This week, we head to Wadsworth High School to meet Luke Bachman. Luke excels both in the wrestling mat and in the classroom as well. The Ohio Lottery is proud to salute Luke Bachman, this week's Shining Star.
Like a carrot to a horse, Luke Bachman sees his goal right in front of him every day. The names of all the Wadsworth State champions are on the wall in the Grizzlies' wrestling room, and Bachman is determined to be one.
If I have a good practice, after the practice I'll go touch that board back there, state champ board, hoping to be one day. So I think about it way too much.
Way too much, you think?
Yeah.
Do you think, are you just obsessed?
Yeah, I mean, not obsessed, just, obsessed, you're right.
A three-time state qualifier, Bachman came oh so close to his dream last season. He wrestled Bryce Andonian of St. Edward for the state title at 138 pounds.
I was winning the whole match, and in the third period, he put me in a cradle and put me on my back. And then it was just lots of fireworks from there.
It turned into a barn burner, especially in the last 30 seconds. But Bachman fell short, 14-10.
He's a really good wrestler, so I don't want to change anything I did. I mean, hopefully it's just something that I can learn from so that this year I can actually get it done.
Luke also began his senior season with a 3.4 GPA and a Big Ten scholarship to Indiana.
It was just a different atmosphere, both wrestling-wise and facilities and the team and the coaching staff and everything about it. It was just special.
Luke Bachman is also motivated by his two older brothers. Noah is on the wrestling room wall as a two-time state champ, and his oldest brother, Chris, is an assistant coach at Wadsworth.
I would say it used to be more of a competition, but now we're starting to become more best friends instead of we used to fight all the time, and then now we're just good friends and we want the best for each other.
If you know a student deserving of recognition, visit OhioLottery.com. Go to the About section, find the tab that is marked Supporting Education to nominate him or her as an academic all-star. He or she could end up as one of our shining stars from the Ohio Lottery. 216-575-0403. You can also follow us on Facebook, going to facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine, with new content posted each and every day. The D-Man is with us from cleveland.com, plain dealer. What are you looking forward to in the next week or two?
A
Cleveland
Kitchens
sports?
presser. I hope by the time I'm on next week, Kitchens is officially named.
Yeah.
Good for him, and I can't wait to see what happens with the Browns in the coming months. The lead up to training camp is going to be crazy. Training camp will be
I don't want to wish
charts.
away. I don't want to wish away our time here, but I can't wait for football season to start. Although that means 6 months would have gone by, which I'm not thrilled about.
I mean, I've always loved the NFL, MLB, NBA, but I will say this: back in the day, I wasn't thrilled about the NFL creating a 12-month season when they only played several months in the regular season and 1 month in the playoffs. Now I'm ecstatic. When the Browns are relevant, I'm ecstatic that it's a 12-month calendar because you always have something to look forward to.
How about the fact that they'll have the 17th pick in the draft and people say, okay, that's fine.
And there's no
We're not obsessing about it.
There's no scramble for a QB for once. You don't have to worry about a quarterback. And Dorsey's got plenty of picks behind the middle of the first round. And he and his crew are going to do, their usual great work.
Normally, Browns fans are cynical, but I don't sense cynicism on what they've done so far here. I think most fans are very happy with what happened here. Because
Browns fans have seen competence arise in that building. They've seen the owner step back, or we think, perception-wise.
Right.
They've seen a legit general manager come in and be allowed to do his job. They saw a team improve dramatically in the second half of the year. And then now you see a coach who showed a lot of potential as an OC. And by the way, Kitchens will hire an offensive coordinator.
Yes.
To put the plan together and do all that. But Kitchens is going to call your plays.
And the fans are also seeing weaknesses with the other teams in the same division.
Yes. While you see the Browns seemingly ascending, you're seeing infighting with the Steelers. Obviously, Roethlisberger's up there. Flacco's no longer the starting quarterback in Baltimore. The Bengals are in disarray. So, it's good for the city to see the Browns doing this.
All right, that'll do it for us. Great job by Dennis Manoloff, as usual. You can read him on cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer also. Tomorrow night, Dave Bacon will have his show in the 6 to 7 slot, as he wraps up takes a look ahead at the weekend coming up. Terry Pluto will join us on Monday. We'll see you then on cleveland.com. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.